Welcome back, my moon children and fellow followers of Luna. Praise be unto her. We've got a lot of interesting things coming our way this time with Arc 2 of Ben Drowned, the Moon Children. Let's do a quick recap of what we learned last time. Jaducible posts on 4chan that he got a Haunted Majora's Mask cartridge from a strange old man. Halfway through his first day of investigation, he thinks to record footage for proof of the weird antics. A strange popping sound confirms that the entity within the game has traveled to his computer, and it begins to haunt him further as the days continue. Jaducible learns that the cartridge used to belong to a boy in the neighborhood named Ben, who had an accident and drowned on April 23rd, this much being confirmed by the game itself. Jaducible begins seeing the LG statue everywhere after attempting to drown Link in the game, and forces try to warn him from doing certain actions. It's possible that Ben is a different entity than the avatar for the Happy Mask salesman, named the Father, who seems to be in sort of a higher role than Ben. It's also unknown if Ben is the spirit of the young child, or some other malevolent force using his name as a moniker, although it's implied to be the latter. On the final day of the hauntings, Jaducible sees the old man outside his college window, and he bolts with the game in his computer, and supposedly takes his notes and emails with him to a library computer, spreading Ben like a virus to all the users who downloaded the truth.rtf. Jaducible's fate is currently unknown, as many of his posts were confirmed to be censored by Ben itself, as his personal diary on the matter mentions videos that we have never seen, and many incriminating details seem to be scrubbed. 108 minutes after the upload of the truth.rtf, a final video was posted to the Jaducible YouTube channel, titled free.wmv, implying that Ben was now in full control as he had spread over the internet. With that under our belts, I'm going to once again take some time to thank Alex Hall and Circle Hunter for the dedication to the story, Alex for creating it, and Circle Hunter for documenting and preserving it. Follow them both on Twitter and show them some love. As before, I'll also post relevant links in the description. Now, we're going to continue right where we left off. These events aren't going to be as structured as the last videos, as this is where the creepypasta becomes a true alternate reality game, and player input becomes very important in this art. So we're going to take this chronologically, and I'll be putting my 2 cents in wherever applicable. On September 17th, 2 days after the premiere of free.wmv, a slew of coded messages were posted on the Jaducible account's recent activity log. The following ciphers were shown, and here are their solutions. And this final coded message led to an old thread on a tech support forum. The original poster, Bumble, was asking about some client issues with the .NET framework, and the second replier, Domestic Beer, gave us a pretty familiar answer at the start of their message. You shouldn't have done that. Combining our 2 hints led players to the big meeting ground for this arc of the ARG. You shouldn't have done that, .NET. This website is very striking the first time you visit it. It's probably one of the most memorable parts of this whole game. But before we explore it in full, I have to say that the You Shouldn't Have Done It.net that exists today is a copy of the original site meant for preservation purposes. What that means will become clear a little bit later, but I wanted to preface that out of the gate. So, looking at the site to start, we're immediately greeted by a few things. The song that plays in the background is more than familiar to you guys at this point, as I have to use it for the majority of the background for my last videos. This is the first instance of background music for the site. There is more, and I'll be sourcing all the music as we go along, as they're made by separate artists unrelated to the ARG. This song is Lost in My Thoughts by Chill. Second, the title of this webpage, The Moon Children. This website is a hosting ground for a cult that is calling themselves the Moon Children, the same name as the mysterious group of supernatural entities from Majora's Mask that were somehow missing from when Jaducible was playing. There are 7 tabs here on the front page, and we're going to dive into each of them before we tackle the information on the main page, as there's a lot we need some context for. Over on the contact page, we have a little more than a normal contact form. The search function acted as you'd expect. You could input a search and try to dig around the site for info, although not much info was there to be gleaned. Although, users could locate the press room, a not yet public page on the site that looked to be barely more than an afterthought. Although there was little to see, the banner image on this page was hiding some text in the properties. Do you honestly think you can escape me? Hidden text on the page itself was also found. Like little lambs, the man is smiling. Clicking on the launch button on this page sent players to the Blast-Off page, which contained mainly lorem ipsum text, but at the very bottom of the page revealed, "For the fold, number 3 was repeated 3 times. The number 3 is going to be very important for us. Next, we would go back to the home page and check out the truth, a password-protected page, an obstacle that at this time could not be overcome without an email-password combo. The source code for this page had a hidden message for the players. It's what they don't want you to know. Next up is the Creed page. This contained 2 creeds for the cult as sort of initiation rites, indicating that masks are involved in the cult's activities. Now this, plus the worship of the moon, heavily ties this cult with the moon children in Majora's Mask, thus including the icon for the site's bookmark with the mask itself. The banner images we've seen so far mirror different areas of Majora's Mask: the swamp, mountain, sea, city. It's easy to say that this cult is involved with the events that relate to the haunted cartridge. Also, one last note in the banner image for this Creed page, the quote, "Men must become angels," is hidden away in the top left corner. Next, we have the About page, where we can learn about some of the moderators on the forums that are hosted on the homepage. First and foremost, we have Ifrit, whose name is listed as Rodney R. He likes helping people decide to join our cause, Seinfeld, PlayStation 2, and reading. He dislikes troublesome people, long nights, and waiting. His ambition is building a sense of community here and, of course, ascension. Who doesn't? This term here is an interesting name drop. Ascension. We can guess what that means now, but we'll be hearing a bit more about it, so we'll stove that for a few minutes. Next up is Neko, whose name is listed as Christopher. He likes, dislikes, and ambitions are all left blank, and that's due to a failure of the preservation due to the original site going down. So we'll just say he likes being a part of the Moon Children, because that makes sense. After him, we have Duskworld23, whose name is listed as Spencer L. He likes Vigilia, Eurotrip, whose line is it anyway, and drawing. He dislikes his parents, and wishing that he ascended already. His ambition is leaving this ship place behind and taking as many people as he can with. Now, for those of you who thought that ascension was a form of death, then you'd be correct. It seems that members of this cult are yearning for some sort of ascension into a higher existence. We'll be getting into their goals and origins a little bit later. The final member here who has a description is Insidii, whose name is Kevin F. He likes studying the occult, fantasy, demons, and spirits. He dislikes people who lie, and his ambition only says, "Ask me again in 2 years." Interesting note for the future, the out-of-character traducible Twitter in the current arc has recently changed its icon to Insidii's icon here. It's not the last we'll see it here, but I wanted to make mention of it as it's a recent development. At the bottom of the page, there's a small special thanks section that gives credit to David, Ryan, Jeff, Danielle, and Rosa for being contributors to the site and its content. Rosa. That was the name of the character from the Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines video, who acted as a prophet for the events through Arc 1. Her name also appeared in the tags of the Day 4 video. Now her name is coming up here. Keep this in mind. The final page we have to visit for the homepage is Theories. The top left corner of the screen shows the quote, "We will see the end together." The large bulk of this page contains various conspiracy theories on how the world will end, and 95% of them are just bogus for flavor text. To be honest, we can skip the Mayan calendar, Hindu, NASA prophecies, because a real gold nugget is here at the bottom, the Luna prophecy. Dating back to 1998, a moonchild named Kelbris received several whispers from Luna herself. The Order was still young then, and Kelbris was the first member to have been talked to by her. Rather than ascending him, however, these whispers informed him of how the end will come about. The whispers were brief and vague, detailed below. They, unintelligible, break free of the prison, engulf the world. Man will be betrayed by its minions, and I will be brought down from the sky, consuming everything. It's worth noting that the number 3 is reported by Kelbris to have been said numerous times, sometimes in between words, sometimes even between letters, so it's assumed that there's some kind of significance there. Kelbris was later found electrocuted. Whether it was foul play or an ascension was never determined. Although transcended, Kelbris' discovery had made him a legendary figure within the Moon Children, and much of the Order today is based off of that prophecy. Okay, there's a lot there. So, a figure named Kelbrus seems to be the origin point for this Moon Children cult. He seems to be the first Moon Child to hear the word of Luna. We have a recurrence of this number 3, that's sometimes even in between words and letters. Kelbrus was receiving a message from the Moon Goddess that this cult worships, and their inevitable goal was to see the moon crash into the earth, consuming everything. This wording is immediately picked up by another reference to Majora's Mask, where much the same sentiment is made as the moon begins to fall. And finally, we learn that Kelbrus seems to have died, whether by foul play or by this ritualistic ascension is unknown. And with that out of the way, we're going to finally tackle the homepage, sort of. You see, the homepage is listed chronologically from newest to oldest posts, so reading it from top to bottom will only serve to confuse us. We're going to scroll all the way down to the bottom to find an out-of-character message here. As of August 9th, 2018, You Shouldn't Have Done That.net is now an official archive of its original incarnation from the Moon Children arc. All guestbook comments from the last few months have been archived above our original canon comments. I would like to say for the sake of clarity that this is fictional, and that the comments above, especially regarding violence, are not real. This site's directory will show you every single instance of every single page that occurred during this website's original existence. Everything, well, most everything has been recreated down to the smallest detail as closely as possible. So this is what I mean about the site being a copy. The site changed several times over the course of this arc, and the directory is mentioned to have record of most of these changes. There are some that unfortunately have been lost to time, but we'll go over those as we come across them. Okay, now going across the homepage, we're going from the start to the bottom and work our way up. We have a guest book that transitions into forum posts made by members of the Moon Children. Before we go through this chat, I'm going to double down on the warning given previously. These following comments describe serious acts of violence, and they're 100% fictional. I bring this up because police were actually contacted about this interaction back in the original run. And to prevent this from becoming a recurring instance, this guest book was removed later on in the ARG. Again, this is fiction. Now, with that out of the way, alright, the site's back up. Finally, I was getting so sick of IRC. Gotta say, I like the new site. The layout needs work, but it'll do. The important thing is that most of us survived the blackout. Anyone know what happened to Alex? I haven't heard from him. No idea. Haven't heard anything on his end. About time we can post. Have Luna or Mr. D been speaking to anyone lately? At least the guest book is up. Had another miserable day at school today. I'm done putting up with it. I literally have no more excuses. I'm gonna get fucking shit-faced tonight, and then on Monday I'm gonna come back to my school with my dad's 9mm and just squeeze the trigger till I fucking die. Sounds rough. Just remember the human emotions are only in this life. I've had half a mind to do the same myself. Just kill them all in her name. Seriously, it's the same shit, boring to 9 to 4. Wife always is on my case, and I'm always positive she's fucking someone else. You know, if you're serious, I'll come drive you down to this weekend. If we team up, we can probably kill a lot more. I've got another 9 you can have. Just do your school. What's it matter? We're all innocent in this fucked up world. We're the liberators. These kids are too stupid to know that we're doing them a favor. Once we've all transcended this doom reality, we'll all be with her anyway, follower or not. Ruffle. Looks like we're going to lose 2 more soldiers earlier before the end. You get my seal of approval. The less this world slips comfortably in complacency, the better IMO. You guys haven't been talking to Luna, have you? Careful guys, we're on a new domain now. Take it to PM. No PMs yet. No, this is all my own free will. I'm just tired of this shit and want to make a difference in the world. Dark, give me your number on IRC and we'll take it there. On a lighter note, I almost lost my mask. I was freaking out, ROFL. Seriously, sometimes I just get used to it on my face that I forget to pick it up if I put it down. I don't know. I think the fact we've only been operational for a day and already DR and Paradoxical are going to shoot up us some places pretty funny. For you guys to go through with it, see you on the other side. I think my ascension's coming up soon. I've been feeling a surge of something spiritual over the past 2 days. I think I'm hearing Luna. I'm not sure though. My mind could just be playing tricks on me. But I could sworn I heard her just now. Not sure what she said though. And remember, we're continuing with the whiteout. That means no using these names or posting outside of here. No Facebooks, YouTubes, Twitters, whatnot. Mr. D has been extremely strict on this rule. Could have sworn I just heard her again. Maybe. I don't know. Ifrit, you might want to take a look at the contact page. Something's not right with it. There are a few passages I want to run back to give some further information on. First is the mention of someone named Alex, and something about a blackout that's caused their original website to go down. Now here, finally, we can talk about the second video that was uploaded to the Juducible channel. Prototype, all consume kills, warning, extremely graphic. This video has been on the channel since June 16th of 2009, just 2 days after the Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines video was uploaded, still about a year and a half before the uploading of Day 4.wmv. This video finally becomes relevant. In it, gameplay is shown of the protagonist of the game, Alex Mercer. The character in the game is a powerful shapeshifter who has amnesia, very similar to a blackout. It demonstrates the protagonist using various methods to consume other people into its own body. In-game, this is for various gameplay benefits, but here we can almost take it to another context. This is almost symbolic of how a cult operates, consuming all that surround it into one singular entity. Although, use of consume here is reference enough to Majora's Mask as well. It should also be noted that the original video's tags were mostly what you'd expect of a video of this caliber, except for two: Terrible and Fate, harkening back to the infamous saying of the Happy Mask Salesman. The tags remained as such until drown.wmv was uploaded, where the tags drown, me, next were added, hinting that after Juducible, this Alex may be an important character to keep a close eye on. So for reference, we have 3 key names to people we haven't met yet: Rosa, Matt from the first arc, and now Alex. The next part I want to focus on is adding another name to that list. Twice in the above comments we heard the name of Mr. D, speaking of him as if he's an admin of some sort. Some people have theorized this person to be Duskworld23, but seeing as Duskworld himself is warning people of Mr. D's strictness, I find it highly unlikely that he's talking about himself in the third person. Mr. D seems to be a currently alive admin, if not leader of the Moon Children, if not just this sect. And in the comments, we have 2 of our previously seen mods in the About section, the previously mentioned Duskworld, and Ifrit is name dropped here at the end, talking about something not being right with the contact page. If we follow Stable's advice and scope out the contact page on our own again, we can find 4 unique pages by adding the right addresses to the end of the URL. By searching the contact page for Alex, users were able to find a page that says, "Another who knows of them, chooses, mask, sends aid, fallen, vehement," with hidden text that is shown when highlighted over deity. He is alone against them. Now, it can be assumed that by deity it's a misspelling of deity, as this implies a few things. First and foremost, that Alex is aware of the Moon Children, and that he's alone against them, where the previous comments seem to show he was at one point involved with the Moon Children. Is it possible he's gone rogue? And the bit about here at the end with vehemence being added to the context, I don't think it's too much of a stretch to take this as reference to the fierce deity. The final mask Link obtains in Majora's Mask from the Moon Children. A present given by the Moon Children to enact the final battle of good guys versus bad guys. It's looking pretty likely that Alex is our protagonist for this arc. We're definitely going to be rounding back to this point, as it does mean a lot more. But we have some more contact pages to check out. Searching at the contact page for Ben shows center text saying, "You have to warn them," with the reversed Happy Mask Salesman's theme from Ben.wmv playing in the background. This page was also titled, "What Are You Doing?" It contained a timer counting down until the 4th day, meaning September 19th, 2010. There are 2 more pages to be found on this day, but we're going to go over the forum posts first as we're tackling this chronologically, and the players hadn't discovered them by this point. So back on the homepage, we're past the guest book and are greeted by a message from Ifrit, welcoming the other Moon Children to the new site. This message was posted a day before the Truth.rtf went live on September 14th, whereas the guest book discussions took place in time with the players on the 17th. Neko makes the post on the next day. "Hey guys, it's Chris. So glad to finally be back with my true family. I hope you're as eager as I am to finally have a place to call our own anyway. Like Dusk said, we lost a lot of content that we had stored. Good news is I got saved some of our testimonials, so that page should be up by tomorrow. But a lot of this will be under construction. Bleh. We got a few new toys. This new host gives us a lot more room to play around with. However, the new domain, I wouldn't be surprised if we get more than our usual amount of visitors. Some may have potential, Others may think they're good enough to join us. We're not ready to open up yet. We want to at least have a few pages working before we welcome you guys back in. So by the time you read this, will be a few days ago. How's the future? Do we have flying cars yet? Also, if anyone asks, the background music is entitled Lost in My Thoughts. I really like it. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be a mod for much longer. My ascension date is coming up really soon. He finally told me it was going to be, and it's tomorrow. It's all I can really think about now. My family can't understand why I'm so excited. So we've got even more confirmation of ascension being the end goal for the Moon Children. We've also got poor form here and Chris not crediting the artist of the music. Come on, Chris, you're better than that. Duskworld23 makes the mess post here. DW here. You may notice a slight name change. Figured it was symbolic. We're back for what looks like to be for good. First of all, I'd like to say congratulations, Chris. He sure has taken a huge interest in you lately. Lucky. I'm not surprised he finally gave you an ascension date. I'm happy for you, man. Can you tell I sound jealous? Anyway, about the move. I know it's been a hectic past couple of days with the domain change and all, but I think we finally found our home. Fingers crossed. This will no doubt attract more potential children. All the more merrier, I say. The site's going to be under construction for a while due to me and Rem having to transfer all the data over here. Unfortunately, not everything ended up saved and we lost a lot of stuff. So we're going to have to try and rebuild. Done it before, we can do it again. If you guys know of any of our guys, feel free to link them to this site, but try and keep it somewhat exclusive. Some of our old siblings, and you know who, were not meant to be part of our group. Please guys, don't make Mr. D upset. So, double confirmation that Duskworld does not equal Mr. D, although it's interesting he made a point of his slight name change. At this point, we have no evidence to say what it was or isn't. Next up is a user named Drowned, whose post simply says, "You shouldn't be reading this." However, if you hover your cursor over his avatar, it changes into the elegy statue. The large consensus is that Drowned here is the Mr. D that was spoken about previously. Also helps to notice that he has an admin tag where the others simply have mod tags. The next day on the 16th, Neko makes his next post. I finished updating the testimonials page, and I'm gonna be handing my mod chip over. Enough with the updates. I just wanted to say thank you for everything you guys have done for me. I feel like before I found this, I was so lost and without a purpose. Just wandering aimlessly. Being with you guys over the past year has made me so happy, and I've made a lot of friends here, and gotten to know some really nice guys. I never really believed in destiny before, but now I'm realizing that, yeah, this is what I was made to do. I'm counting down the minutes until I still feel like I'm gonna pinch myself and wake up at any moment. I already have everything I need to go there. It's like all my life I've been waiting for this moment, when I can finally achieve what I was meant to do. Keep the site running strong for me while I'm gone. I'll be back to come get you guys soon. 2 hours later, Duskworld updates. DW here. I just want to say that Chris, Neko, has had a successful ascension earlier today, and there were no complications. Even though I'm so envious of him, it really warmed my heart when I heard the news, and I'm sure it will for you guys too. Actually, I don't exactly have our logs out here in front of me, but I think Chris was the youngest person we've ever had to do a successful ascension. This makes sense. Chris is always mature for his age. We're all really happy for you, Chris, and hopefully we'll see you soon. Now, if only he would start talking to me. P.S. Has anyone felt an increase in spiritual presence lately? It's making my neck hair stand up on end. The final 2 posts are made by Ifrit, the first on the 17th and the second a day later. Finished adding the contact, about, and theory sections. Contact page has been acting weird. Fixed up the creed. Dusky had a few typos there. Watch that. And its layout, especially for the posts, is pretty disgusting. You guys will have to bear with us until we get everything set up before we change it. Anyway, TGIF, anyone want to have a vigil Sunday night? Drop me an email. Also, congratulations to Chris. We all knew he had it in him. That's the first successful one we've had in a while. Add info to the contacts page. Notice that we've had a huge influx of trolls, no doubt, because of the fact we're a bit more mainstream now. We've been going down every so often because of the bandwidth overload, and we've got an insane amount of requests to join us. Most of them are trolls. I'm having some of the other moderators go through them carefully, and we'll contact those who seem legitimate in the coming days, but we don't want to make a jump to anything rash. And that last message is definitely Ifrit, showing that he's aware of the player's presence on the website. Now, if we return back to the contact page, we can try some of the new names so we can see if we can find anything. The most mysterious figure of them all was definitely drowned, so let's check theirs out. And it's definitely something. We get a picture of a large, green, disfigured man with the reverse Decana Canyon music playing in the background. Scrolling down reveals... Attempting to save the image reveals its file name, kelbris.jpg. So, this is Kelbris, the first Moonchild from 98. At this point, he's been dead for, 12 years? And yet somehow shares relation with this drowned character. Last but not least, the title of the page is a cipher that translated to, "My eyes. They took my eyes." The final contact page wasn't found until 2 hours before the countdown ended on September 18th, 2010. It led to Ifrit's contact page, which was titled FJ6RT. The plain text said, "Should you know what question to ask, the gate to the truth will be opened," with hidden text revealed by highlighting it, ifritmoon@gmail.com. It was at this point that several users began to email Ifrit en masse. Massive thanks to Circle Hunter here, as we have a huge compilation of relevant threads. Now, it's interesting to note that the emails that Redundancy Kills and everyone else who participated received was under the name Matt Hubris. The About page on the site listed Ifrit's name as Rodney R. I guess it's safe to say this was an alias, and this is the Matt we've been told about back during Arc 1. I'll post a timestamp to skip the long and short of it, as I'll be summarizing the important information gained from these conversations afterward. But if you want to read the full thing, here we go. The first two conversations took place with the username Redundancy Kills. How did Ben drown? Note, a portion of one of Joe Deucible's Cleverbot conversations where Ben refers to another who asks was attached to this message. Ben? You've heard from Ben? Where is he? And we have a YouTube link to the Joe Deucible YouTube channel. As far as I can tell, he's everywhere. No. We lost Ben back during the blackout. We haven't heard from him. If you aren't aware, you're next. I'm not sure what your group is planning, but you might want to consider some alternatives. And then Redundancy Kills posts a link to Ben's contact page on the You Shouldn't Have Done That website. That page redirects to a 404. Are you sure you typed that in right? I'm sure you're going through a lot of email messages, but I hope you understand that I feel something dramatic will happen in an hour or so. Do you know what is in the truth section of your website? Yes. Could you perhaps let me know? Your eyes. They aren't worthy to see it. Is this a treatable ailment? Give them. The second conversation stemmed from an alternate reply to Ifrit's message about losing Ben during the blackout. How are you doing? Is he missing? What blackout? When was this? I'm sorry if I seem insensitive. I'm sure you can understand the situation I'm in. Everything is so cryptic and bizarre on Joe Deucible's channel, and on your website. What information do you have? Joe Deucible's channel? Yes, Ben was my good friend. We're not sure. He might have ascended, but nothing was ever for sure. Who's Kelbris? Note, several emails prior to this were sent, but this is the one he answered to. Hang on. Someone keeps knocking on my door. Who's drowned? A friend of mine. An unknown message from a player named Alex. Alex? Is that you? Where have you been? Who must we warn? And how? What? Where has Alex gone? Alex disappeared during the blackout. Haven't heard from him. What is the truth? It is the true nature of the world, of us, of the prophecy. Does the prophecy have any relation to Luna? Of course. Can you explain this prophecy to me? No. What happens during Ascension? You become one with Luna. Who gives you your specific Ascension times? Luna. When is your Ascension time? When Luna starts whispering to me. Did you kill Rosa to gain entrance to the Moon Children? Of course not. Rosa is my sister. Hello. I'm very interested in learning more about the Moon Children. I stumbled upon your site a few days ago and was reading to learn more. But the site alone has not quenched my desires. I need to know more. And since you seem to be my verbal counterpart, I decided to ask you, what is this group's goal? How do I get in? I believed in Luna for a long time, but I didn't know you were out there. It's nice to find people with the same beliefs. Shiva. Where do you live? We could set up a meeting. We have members throughout the United States, although a few were called down to the Midwest recently. I think by now they should be heading back to their respective homes. This is my mask. Do you like it? Should I wear it? And then a personal note, there was an attached photo of the user wearing Majora's mask. Why base your mask on a video game? It doesn't represent you. Why, it represents my love for the game. No, it represents an originality. It represents filth. I've heard that Ben drowned. Is that true? I don't know. That may explain why we never found his body. What happens when the timer runs out? What timer? What happened to Ben? We think he ascended. We're not sure. He was a good friend of mine. What about Majora? Who? Majora's Mask. What does Majora's Mask have to do with Ben? The Zelda game? Nothing. Why? What do you have to lose? Say to me. How did you get into the Moon Children? Who did you kill, Ifrit? I've been spammed with this question. You guys are not gonna hack into my account. Forget it. Well, I can give it a try. Seriously, how'd you get in? Don't say who, just say how. Why would I tell you that? Because you're my only hope. None of the orders can talk. You understand that, right? Yes, and if you were chosen, I'd tell you. Would I kill Ben? Did you? It would lay my mind to rest knowing that my brother is gone instead of clinging to false hopes he may still be alive. And then some miscellaneous replies. Ben was a good friend of mine. He went missing a while ago and we think he's ascended. Alex was our most powerful warrior. Wait, someone's at the door. Hang on, someone is knocking at my door. So, we get some solid confirmation on some things. Ben, the boy, was a member of the Moon Children. He must have been around or a little bit older than Echo, the youngest confirmed ascension, according to Duskworld on the forums. And Ben's drowning was either his ascension or an ascension gone horribly, horribly wrong. It seems that even Moon Children weren't able to find his body. These circumstances eerily mirrored Kelbrus and his death/ascension in 1998. Ifrit calls Rosa his sister and Ben his brother. It's highly likely he's talking about them in the cultish meaning of brother and sister, not familial sense. Also confirming that Rosa we hear about in the special thanks is actually a Moonchild. So there's Matt and Rosa right there. And we get confirmation that Alex was indeed a Moonchild. Bringing our total count now for mystery characters from the first arc. Also, whenever anybody tried to link to Matt about the countdown from the 4th day, he seemed oblivious to its existence. And last but not least, the people who got replies from Matt all had their conversations end with Matt making mention of someone, or something, knocking on his door. 1 hour before the countdown was set to end, Drowned's post on the forums disappeared, and Lost in My Thoughts was replaced with a sped-up version of the reversed Happy Mask Salesman theme, titled Matt's Final Hour.mp3.
Uh-oh.
At this time, players began to email Matt again, hoping to warn him, but all who sent emails were given a reply, "Hang on, someone keeps knocking at my door." And then any and all replies stopped. At this time, the deducible YouTube account posted lyrics from Who's That Knockin' by the Genies. At 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, a video response was uploaded to free.wmv. Gosh, saying that sentence there gives me nostalgia. You know, back in the day, people were allowed to upload videos as a direct response to others. This video here was titled FJ6RT and was uploaded by TheLinkMissing. This user, when inspecting their channel, showed that their name was Alex. This was our missing Moonchild, our missing protagonist, our missing link. There are still some things about this whole experience that still don't make sense. But then again, I never was good at figuring out those things, and I'm not exactly in the right state of mind to. I'm giving you all the pieces of the puzzle for you to analyze and piece together the missing links. Anyway, the video shows a scene from Ocarina of Time. After this video was posted, everything changed. Ben posted on 4chan's paranormal board the same thing he posted on the 15th, the listing for the truth.rtf. You shouldn't have done that .net went down for maintenance. Just like what happened with Traducible, we have been given another chance. The counter has been reset. We have been sent back in time. In Majora's Mask, the Song of Time is used to save incremental progress and time travel to the beginning of the 3-day countdown until the fall of the moon. We are playing by those rules now, and the link missing, Alex, has revealed himself to save us from the final hour. We are now in our second cycle. On September 19th, 2010, the Moon Children's website came back online, albeit looking like it was in the early stages of production. This is the equivalent if we had managed to find the site on the 16th of September instead of the 17th of the first cycle. However, there are no posts by Ifrit or by Drowned on the forums here, and Ifrit's name and information has been removed from the About section. What's interesting is Ifrit's post about starting up the website has been written this time by Insidii, his first appearance on the website, and they do make mention of needing another moderator. At this point, it's clear that Matt didn't make the trip back with us. We were too late to rescue him. In Majora's Mask, not everything reset when the Song of Time was played. Key items and story progression remained, even after a time had reset. Once a boss in one of the 4 dungeons was killed and their remains were taken, that was it for them. Now, in Majora's Mask, claiming a boss's remains purified the area they resided in of poison and malice, but the effect of purifying did reset with the new timeline. So it wasn't necessary for Link to defeat the bosses every single new timeline, only the first time to get the remains. This story seems to be holding true to the fact that once a boss is dead, they're dead. Matt is gone, and his role has been given to Insidii in this new timeline. If we go to the contact page and try to find Ifrit's, we get 3 elegy statues staring back at us with expecting to find someone else in a mocking tone. Now, the site itself has seen some major changes. The most apparent, aside from anything I've talked about thus far, is the background music has changed. It's now a track named The Rewind in canon. The original name of the song is Destroyed Violin Dark Rap by Jade K. Dupa. Finally, I can introduce more background music for the series without spoiling it. I felt bad enough about Lost in my thoughts. Anyway, the truth section has changed as well. Since we're in the day before we ever found it, we can access this page before it became protected by a password. Unfortunately, it does not hold very useful information. Still in the progress of moving everything over, sorry for the delay, but it's imperative we find him and silence him before we can reveal our intentions. Also, I can't figure out how to make this private. We got about 2 days or so before we open up this website to the world, so I figured it'll be okay for now. Alec and Alan can stumble upon this, but can someone help out with that? DW. So, Duskworld was the one who was initially tasked with locking the info up, and the person they're trying to silence is most likely Alex, being that he's our only weapon against the Moon Children at this point. Now, this bit of the truth, unfortunately with how the recovery website handles its file storage, those that saved most of this website effort initially went down were unable to preserve the files behind the locked door in the first cycle, meaning that we permanently missed out on the solving that login. Now from bad news to really interesting news. Knowing how Majora's Mask works, there's a special song you can play by playing the Song of Time in reverse, which cuts the flow of time down by 2/3, effectively giving the player more time to do with what they need. YouTube user, this name that I can't pronounce, so I'm not gonna butcher it, posted a second video response to Free with a video of Link playing this song. It was accepted, and we were truly shown how we could play this game. The website time did in fact slow in response to this video. As soon as the response was accepted, the Traducible YouTube account posted a response in cipher, translated to,
"You've begun to start thinking. You've begun to catch on. You've made a discovery today, but how long until that blessing becomes a curse?"
This opened the floodgates to users trying all different kinds of songs in response to test out their effects. YouTube user MF Greth posted the new wave bossa nova. It gives those without a voice the chance to speak, and it's used in the Great Bay Area of the game. The logic behind this was to bring Matt back to answer more of our questions. The interesting thing is it did manage to get us in contact with the Matt Huber's email account, although it became quite clear that it wasn't Matt on the other end. The first conversation began with a user named Zach V. I was curious if you guys had either a link to the old summary or a summary of what happened before you guys switched to the new site. Me and a few friends have been following you guys and wondered what this whole story was. Can you speak? Why did you play that? We need to know how to fix this before we reverse time. What do we do? The blackout. Something happened in the blackout. Matt, don't open the fucking door. Rosa said. Matt, what song do we need to play? I am Rosa. Who is this? Do you know where Matt is? Rosa, something is going on. What happened to Alex? Give me as much info as possible. You may be able to save Matt somehow. All I can tell you is this is Ben's fault. Who is Matt also? This is also confusing. What is Matt doing with his people? Ben's been dead. I don't see how. I don't know what happened. After the blackout, I don't know where Matt is. I don't know where Alex is. Why would we want to find him anyway? Please call someone. I can hear it counting down outside my door. What happened leading up to the blackout? And why did it happen? What happened during it? We can reverse this and fix everything if you give me the info. Now, before we continue with the conversations, it's important to realize that while this was going on and people were getting in contact with Rosa, more songs were being accepted by people sending them in. Our blessing became a curse really quickly. The Song of Healing was accepted next, sent in by Higurashi Engos. Against the wishes of other users, the main page of youshouldn'thavedonethat.net changed to a post from Kelbris that read,
I'm knocking at your door next. Let me in. I want to speak.
Confirming that somehow, Kelbris is the one who made it to Mad in the first cycle. Immediately after this, the Oath to Order was accepted, sent in by Moonman2522, ironically enough. Now in the main game, the Oath to Order is one of the earlier songs you learn, but you can't use it to its full power to stop the moon from falling until you've saved the 4 giants, or beaten the 4 bosses. We haven't met the requirement yet this early in the game, and so we are punished for it. It's believed that the song ended up causing Alex's death, but we'll get back to that in a second. Now back to the messages with Rosa. Rosa, do not open that door. Rosa, I need a password and username. And this second conversation took place with a user named Ryukaki. What happened in the blackout? Talk to me, Matt. Rosa, that's you? Yeah, who is this? Please, if you're nearby a phone, please call the police. I can hear it outside my door. What is going on? Leave, get out now. Rosa, where do you live? I'll call the police. Oregon, it's outside my door. They're coming for you. You need to get out. I can't go anywhere. Rose, what is the username and the password? Quickly, we can save the others. Rosa, please, hurry. There's still time. Matt Huber's 423, The Lens of Truth. Note, these were censored in screenshots shared by Ryukaki. If you can escape, do so. I will not waste this chance. Please, call the fucking police. It stopped. Give me your address. It's leaving? Rosa, are you still there? Please tell me you're safe. Rosa, please, the login isn't working. Fuck. People had begun to panic at this point. They didn't want to make the same mistake as they did before. So YouTube user Mia posted the Song of Time to bring us back to the first day. This was accepted, and we were brought back. Unfortunately, not all was good. 4 tags were added to the Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines video on Jadusible's channel. You didn't save her. We didn't play the Song of Time early enough. We tried to get as many questions answered as possible, even though we knew Rosa was in danger. Because of our inaction, we lost both Matt and Rosa. And then TheLinkMissing uploaded a new video. This video shows Link, Alex, being slain by Dark Link, confirming the effects of our misuse of the Oath to Order. However, not all was lost, as MF Greth, the user who got us in contact with Rosa in the first place, posted a video response of Link using a bottled fairy to revive him. A new video was uploaded on TheLinkMissing in response, titled Continue, showing the game over screen from Ocarina of Time and the player selecting to continue the game. Unfortunately, we weren't able to enjoy our success for long. User Cersei posted the Sonata of Awakening, which was accepted. Its effect wasn't immediately clear, except it seemed to cause Alex to disappear. A new video was posted on the Deducible channel titled HuntYouDown.wmv, showing a partially transparent Darklink walking through and out of the Temple of Time. Nave coming to view at the last second. It's theorized that Ben was now mobilizing efforts into hunting Alex, and he had to go underground. Double, unfortunately, it's at this time that a few hours into the third cycle that the ARG experienced its first road bump. Well, not counting the whole police incident thing. Alex Hall came out from the dark and claimed that financial difficulties were preventing him from continuing the series. It was at this time that HuntYouDown.wmv was removed from the Deducible channel, but MF Greth reposted it on his own channel. Later in that day, Alex went to have a Q&A session on 4chan about various game mechanics and interesting tidbits about the story, but he was hesitant to answer any plot points as he hoped to one day continue. I've taken the liberty of highlighting the really interesting bits from this Q&A and any that come after, but we'll get to those as they happen chronologically. What was the use of the username/password I got from Rosa? That would unlock the truth section of the website when the time reset and the site came back up. And this is where we would have unlocked the truth section, but as previously mentioned, those that recreated the You Shouldn't Have Done That website did not have access to the files behind that lock, and thus were unable to see what was behind there. How are we supposed to save Chris? There was no way to reach Chris. Like the Skull Kid hitting tail, no matter what Tattle or Satyr did at every time, you would simply have to watch him ascend every time reset. You had more videos, didn't you? Children.wmv and Matt.wmv? Did you plan to release those yourselves eventually, or only after we triggered something in the story? Yes, I have Children.wmv. And the first part of Matt, Jada Sable, was the second part of Matt.wmv, just renamed and spliced by Ben. Who was Matt? It's what Ifrit's email said, but the site said he was Rodney. Ballpark figure of when you could start the game again? Matt was Ifrit. Rodney was a fake name on the website to cover his own ass. And no idea when it might be, but I'll be sure to make you guys know. Jada Sable, would you mind clarifying whether or not your true name is Judas/Abel in scrambled letters? Good eye. And this will be very important for Arc 3. Keep this in mind. Jada Sable, guy who asked for your pick here. I have one other question. I haven't been analyzing the stories much lately. I started getting confused when You Shouldn't Have Done That got introduced. But tell me, is Caliber supposed to be the boss? One of the 4 giants? Or something else entirely? One of the 4 giants. This answer is a bit confusing, but we'll go into it later. Now, with the Q&A ended, at about 9:30 the same night as Eastern Standard Time, Ben posted the truth.rtf on X again. However, it now included an image of the Happy Mask Salesman that was titled The Father.jpg. Now confirming the long-held theory that the HMS was in fact representative of a separate entity from Ben. It's confirmed the next day, out of character, that Alex had received donations from generous people, and that it may be possible to continue the ARG. At this point, You Shouldn't Have Done That sort of morphed into a half-in-character and half-out-of-character resource for players to use and catch up on the events of the first arc. A Chapters tab was added, as well as a Frequently Asked Questions section, and a Donations tab, as well as an ARG Timeline tab. Some time had passed until some new discoveries were found on October 4th, 2010. Certain clues were planted on the new pages. On Chapters, the text HTTP // was discovered. On The Truth, what was discovered? On the Frequently Asked Questions, is. On Donations, not so fast. On ARGtimeline.com. Most people assume the final word in the URL was Ben, leading to whatisben.com, as it had been suddenly being created, but not yet publicly launched. However, this remains unconfirmed. The next day, on October 5th, the out-of-character post on You Shouldn't Have Done That's homepage was edited. The phrase, "probably not," was now struck through, and the background music had reverted to the rewind. On October 6th, several changes started to affect the site. Its icon was changed to an image of a small child in a gas mask, titled HKBBDIN.jpg. On the front page, a picture of a gas mask appeared, and when dug into the image was revealed to have 2 file names, StoleMy.jpg and Eyes.jpg. Below this was a cipher that required multiple key shifts and efforts to unscramble, revealing 3 files, FSZTKU.txt, TheLie.txt, and TheTruth.txt. And above the gas mask, "It's not real" was typed 9 times in hidden text. We'll go over these files really soon because, oh boy, we're going to be in file overload shortly, and honestly I'm going to put that off as long as I can. The background music was changed once again to unintelligible whispering meant to disturb and distract the players. Next, on the Truth and FAQ pages, the header had been changed to "This will hurt you." The FAQ page also contained Calibers.jpg. Over time, 3 messages appeared on the front page. You are waking up now, 13 minutes. You are waking up now, 5 minutes. Pulling the plug. The players who saw this happen live began alerting the others quickly. The URLs for the 3 previously found files hinted toward the existence of more files, of which the players were able to scope out. In total, numbers from 1 to 63 could be inserted at the end of the URL to end up at a unique downloadable file. Some needed passwords to obtain, and the exception lied being no 31st file. Shortly afterward, the site reverted back to its original state. Players have now awoken, and the game officially continued from this point. Lost in my thoughts, shortly returned to the site's background music, but it didn't last long as the rewind quickly replaced it. Now, before we continue, we have to tackle the mountain of files that was found by the players. This was a lot, and not all of it's interesting, but for the purposes of completion, here we go. A good chunk of them are art assets that were used in parts around the site. These files I'll skim over super quickly. These first few images are sourced to a whole bunch of people. Bless Circle Hunter for doing the good man's work in sourcing all this shit. File 1. Picture of some trees from interoptics.net. File 2. Picture of a canyon from interoptics.net. File 3. Picture of a sheep from interoptics.net. File 4. Picture of a starfish from interoptics.net. File 5. Picture of Oregon from interoptics.net. File 6. This is the file JPEG that was posted after the first small brief the ARG had on 4chan. File 7. This is the Majora's Mask bookmark icon. File 8. Official art of Link, Epona, and Talon for Majora's Mask. File 9. In-game screenshot of Skull Kid in the Moon, just before the appearance of the title screen. File 10. Same image as above, except for a black and white border and the text Children of the Moon in the lower right-hand corner. File 11. The Rewind.mp3. Originally called Destroyed Violin Beat, Dark Rapid Middle. By Jace K. Dupla. File 12. Lost in My Thoughts by Chill. File 13. Dark World 23 Avatar.jpg. This shows Dusk World 23's avatar from the forums, confirming his old year's name is actually Dark World 23. Huh. What a weird way to confirm that. The original image is credit the Tesseract character in Derek Landy's novel Skullduggery Pleasant Mortal Coil. File 14. Neko.jpg. This is Neko's avatar from the forum. Original sources from DeviantArt user Neko Demon. File 15. Drown.png. This is Drown's avatar and is by DeviantArt user Fartifuckborts, I think so. File 16. 5432.jpg. This is the LG statue image that appeared when hovering with mouse over the Drowned avatar. File 17. Edmund.jpg. This is Ifrit's avatar. No, we don't have a direct source. It's a picture of hip-hop artist MF Doom. File 18. Picture of the Moon by Jessica Christie. File 19. Picture of the Moon, source unknown. File 20. Picture of the Moon, source unknown. File 21. Picture of the Moon, source unknown. File 22. Picture of an eclipsing moon, source unknown. File 23. Edmund.jpg. Yep. Welcome to Ben Drown's Gachapon. You just rolled a dupe. This is the same file as file 17. File 24. Insidieye.jpg. This is Insidiye's avatar. Source unknown. File 25. Song of Healing reverse.mp3. This is our official source for Song of Healing. Still gonna call it Song of Healing. File 26. Resales.mp3. This is the version of the reverse Happy Mass Salesman theme that we saw in Ben.wmv and on Ben's contact page in the first cycle. File 27. An unused bookmark icon of a creepy moon with a face. Source, Nigel Channing's face. File 28. Majora's Mask bookmark icon. Where to on the dupes now? Same as file 7. File 29. Picture of the Earth and the Moon with meteors around it. File 30. Kelbers.jpg. Our big green friend here, source is Elephant Man by Michael Kuch. File 31. Nada. Nothing. Weren't you listening? File 32. OOT. Bongo Bongo Murmur. .mp3. This is the background sound from Deducible.wmv after Link ends up in the graveyard. Interesting note, when sped up, it almost sounds like it's saying, the moon is early. File 33. Majora's Mask music, Iconic Valley reversed, 0.0.mp3. Did we get an OG emoji in a spoopy file name? Anyway, yes, the reverse Iconic Valley theme, also used for John's contact page and appeared in day4.wmv. File 34. Matt's Final Hour.mp3. This is how I got the name for that track that I mentioned before. It appeared in quite literally Matt's Final Hour. Also appeared in Ben.wmv. File 35. Ben.jpg. Self-explanatory here. It's also the same image that was used on Ifrit's contact page after the first cycle. File 36. Get it? Yet. MP3. A slowed down version of the Skull Kid Laughter that played on the said contact page. File 37. Closer.mp3. This is the same cry as Bongo Bongos as before, except it's a little bit shorter. File 38. 4G.jpg. This is Clover's avatar from the forums before Rose's disappearance. File 39. Not over.mp3. A slightly slower version of Get It Yet.mp3. File 40. The Truth.rtf. Exactly as it sounds, it's unchanged from its original release. File 41. Donations banner. File 42. Chapters banner. File 43. Full-size version of File 41. File 44. Ice.jpg. This is the previously mentioned gas mask image that took over the front page. It was also called tookmy.jpg. Source is unknown. File 45. Never could.mp3. Also known as sadboy.mp3. Source unknown. File 46. Ice.jpg. Yep, same file. Source still unknown. File 47. Still my JPEG. Same. God damn it, Jed. Source unknown. File 48. So, this is our first file that needed a password, and that password was drowned. We received an image of the child in the gas mask labeled HKBBDIN.jpg. The original image comes from the empty child from Doctor Who. Also, The cipher in the image title is a shift cipher, translating to log game by using key of drown and having a shift of 0. File 49, fsztku.txt. We're finally here at the file that started it all. We have some meat on this, at least compared to what we've been getting. If it's not clear, this is my least favorite part of the ARG, as all the rewards for the cool discovery work so far has been 95% garbage. Anyway, gripes aside, the text file's title shifts to Hubris. The file itself reads, "You didn't think I was done with you, did you? You're done playing when I say you're done playing." I assume this is in reference to players thinking that the game was over, so I guess it's an in-character reason for the slight delay that happened. File 51, the truth.txt. Unrelated to the file mentioned by Ben in the Arc 1 summaries, this file is also password protected with the password Ben. The text inside says, "Wake up. You have to wake up." File 52, unintelligible.mp3. Password protected by Jedusible. Contains a whispering, almost chanting-like voice. Sources unknown. File 53, unintelligible.mp3. Password protected by Free. Even though it's named the same as the previous file, it is a different file. Contains whispering audio saying, this is implying that Jedusible is the one speaking, and he's met with the same fate, possibly as Rosa and Matt. Not at all surprising, but our first mention of Jedusible in this arc. File 54, NowYou.jpg. A completely black picture used for the FAQ during the current events. File 55, Trap.jpg. A cropped picture of Kilbris.jpg. File 56, unintelligible.mp3. God damn it, Chad. This is the third file with this name and the third unique file. Source unknown. Also, password protected by Ifrit, implying that it's Ifrit. File 57, unintelligible.mp3. He's just doing this now to be pedantic. Reversed whispering sounds. When made right, it says, "Please kill me. Please kill me." Password protected by Ifrit, implied to be him yet again. File 58, Majora's Mask bookmark icon. No comment. File 59. Oh boy. This one. This baby right here is actually interesting. This file has caused so much stress within the fandom. For so long, players couldn't figure out everything within this file. But first we had a roadblock with a password that wasn't easily guessable. Turns out the password that we couldn't use for the truth ended up working here. The password was the lens of truth without any spaces in it. The file we get from this is mhftt.txt. This title was then later discovered to mean Matt Hubris frees the truth, being Matt's last message to the players, warning them about Ben. Inside the file is the following. If you're reading this, then you found the secret message. This is the last one I can send out. I am not dead. It's sitting right in front of you. You are meant to survive this. You can't give him what he wants. I don't know how to tell you this, but there's no more link now. He was the last thing that stood between you and it, as some kind of conduit. That conduit is severed now. There is not considered this is the real thing that is separating you from him. It will try to get to you. It will try to break you. But you have to remain strong. You cannot hit. It is sadistic. It will try and give you guys a fighting chance like it's given everyone else. It wants you to try and resist, and to try to be fooled into thinking you have any semblance of free will. Do not buy it. Do not believe it. It is always watching. It will lead you into the truth.txt into oblivion if you let it. Do not be fooled. If something is too good to be true, be wary. You must use this overconfidence and systematic prediction against it. How? I did not know. That is something I could not figure out before the end. Even your first instinct may be to assume that this message has been tampered with, but then you may not really understand who it really is. It wants to play. It wants a challenge. It has led you to what you are talking about. It's for a reason. But now you'll be given the means to fight back. Let its arrogance be its undoing. There are strength in numbers. You no doubt have others who will help collaborate with you. There are those who will left behind clues subtle enough for it not to realize their significance. They may help you if you can find them. Combine your brains together, starting with the recent glitch. Compile every bit of evidence you have and share it amongst yourselves. You may gain the upper hand yet. Do not ever let it use you. It thinks it is in control. Yet despite all the omnipotence in the world, there is nothing more dangerous than the illusion of compliance. Ifrit. And then we have 2 ciphers, top and bottom. Now, this bottom cipher was solved relatively quickly. It translates to Cade Hendricks, you are in danger. And what that means will become apparent very soon. But this top cipher, this is what stumped people. Do you want to know how long it took for the cipher to be fully cracked? 8 years. It took until 2018 until we finally got the answer that eluded us so long in File 59, the file that had become infamous in this ARG for becoming unsolvable. The translation isn't really mind-blowing, but here it is. I see you 3 live. Can my dear Rosa please live? I mean, there's definitely some satisfaction in seeing the cipher solved, but all this time, this seemed like the super key to all our mysteries. I mean, I guess you move on. That Cade Hendricks name drop is a key point for the next step of the ARG, kinda, but we still have some more files to go through before we get there. And here we go. File 60, Fate.txt. This file included another name drop to a player, containing the text, "It comes for us all, Sepharium." File 61, Hard Epic Hip Hop Rap Instrumental hyphen Synthy H, aka Synthy Hoodie 2.mp3. Jesus Christ, that file name. Anyway, this is another song, one that would soon become the 3rd background track for You Shouldn't Have Done That.net, but not yet. The in-game name of the song is Wrath of the Ignored. Original artist is Synthy Hoodie. File 62, Hard Epic Instrumental by Synthy Hoodie, .mp3. Same file as before, better file name. File 63, Epic Orchestra Rap Instrumental, .mp3. This is the last song that will be heard as background material for You Shouldn't Have Done That.net before the original website went down. In-game, this is known as Unraveling the Labyrinth. Original artist is Soars, and the title is Epic Orchestra Rap Instrumental, Prepare for War. Okay, for the time being, that is all the files that were uploaded. There were a few more files uploaded in 2011, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. I need a break from downloaded files and pictures of moons. Anyway, as this was going down, the Deducible YouTube channel posted a bulletin containing free.wmv and a scrambled message. The message led to a forum about prisons. The letter in the archive had been dated April 23, 2003. Players took this to be a more subtle hint to begin to reorganize, similar to how the You Shouldn't Have Done That website was found. Speaking of the website, some more hidden text was found on the Truths at RTF chapter saying, "I hope you had more patience than he did." Deducible's YouTube posted the following message to its recent activity, a mirror of Rosa's plea for help alongside a link to the Vampire the Masquerade video. At this point, every file except for the password to File 59 had been solved. This reminder of Rosa's plea with their video was what reminded players of the unused password that user Ryukaki had obtained for them. Interestingly enough, that name from the File 59 document, YSHDT, that text, Cade Hendricks, belonged to one Ryukaki after searching it up online. Players were able to locate Ryukaki's YouTube channel and began to keep a close eye for any suspicious activity. Now, I have an alert here. This is very important. The following events are a very controversial part of this arc in the story. This point forward, Ryukaki gets the blessing from Alex to contribute to the lore and world building, and he does this largely on his own. As such, you're reminded to take these events with a grain of salt. They are regarded as ambiguously canon, as events later show that Alex didn't intend for Cade to run with it as long as he did. For the purposes of categorization, I am going to record the events that Ryukaki experienced as officially recognized by canon, but I am going to preface it with this message. But we will be tackling that next time, as this video is going to be humongous if just one singular video, and I want to make it cleaner than the last video's break. So next time on the Ben Drowned Explained series, we will be checking out the events that Ryukaki went through, and the rest of Arc 2, and the beginning of what initially began as the final arc.